So, welcome everyone to this wonderful session. First of all, thanks to all the participants, especially to the cricket lovers. Instead of giving your time to the IPL, you are here. So, thanks to all of you. Today we have Paresh with us as a speaker. Welcome you, Paresh.
Yeah, thanks.
Coming to his introduction, he has 20 years of experience in analysis, design, development, and testing entire component-based application. He has several domains expertise like in healthcare, health insurance industries, IoT, Arduino programming, and iOS app using IoT. He has also worked in fields of energy and utility, railway transportation, hospitality, e-commerce, and some core technologies like Java, Spring, Hibernate, and different web services. He has expertise in languages like Java, Python, JavaScript, Shell, C++, and C Sharp. Also have expertise of big data platform like Hadoop, Storm, Flume, and Scala. So welcome you all to this wonderful session. And I'm offering this to you, Paris. You can start.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction and all. Okay, so let me introduce myself. Okay, I'm from the batch of 1997 and 2000. Okay, myself Paresh Pradhan, and I have total 20 years experience, as she said, right? So 10 years in India and 10 years in US. So currently I am in Lexington, Massachusetts. It's in US, and working for a healthcare insurance company. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Paresh,
Okay.
clear. Yeah.
You're clear, Paras bhai.
Oh, thanks, Chandra. Thanks. Oh, 1 second. How to share present your entire screen or window? I need to share my screen. I have to do entire screen, right?
Better do enter screen actually, because while switching to different windows, it might be awkward. Better to do a present now
Okay.
to enter screen actually.
Okay. You can see my screen, is it?
It's loading. Yeah, right now. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So this is my email ID. Okay. So before we start, right? Let's start with the quote. Okay. So this is what I mean. This is the quote I generally like. I mean, I was going through some document and I see this one and I really like this one. Okay. So just wanted to share with you guys. So what it says is, gaining knowledge is the first step of wisdom. Okay. And sharing it is the first step of to humanity. So we need to gain knowledge, and then we have to share it. Okay. So I mean, I don't know who said this one, but I really like this one. Okay. And I know, I mean, a lot of you guys who already work in Git and GitHub and all those things. So feel free to add anytime. Okay. So it's basically whatever knowledge I have, I am sharing it. So if you feel like, okay, this is incorrect or something like that, right? You can add anytime. Okay. So before going to Git and GitHub, right? I just wanted to give you an overview of how I mean all this software life cycle and all those things. Okay, so I'll cover the Git and GitHub a little bit later. Before that, I just wanted to cover this one. Okay, so most of the company nowadays, right? I mean, that old days we were following that waterfall model and all those things, but now most of the companies, right? They are following this agile Scrum methodology, software development. I think one of our senior, he already gave a session on this one. Okay, so what exactly this Scrum methodology? Is a agile framework for developing, delivering, and sustaining complex product. Okay, so Okay. In Scrum, right, there are 15 days sprint and all those things. Why I'm discussing this thing, when I mean we'll come to the end, I will let you know, okay, why exactly I put all those things here. Okay. So I mean how it works is like in every software company. Okay, so there are like 4 quarters basically in a year, right? There are 4 quarters like January, February, March, April, May, June, and July, August, September. So now, if you see here in US, right, we are in quarter 3, okay, which is basically they call it as a release 3 also, okay. So this is how it is. So each quarter, right, if you see there is one release, okay, R1, R2, R3, and R4, and in each month, right, because it's a 15-day sprint, we have like 4 sprint here. So R1, S1 is your sprint 1 and sprint 2 for January, and like that. Okay, so right now if you see here we are in September, means maybe R3 release 3 and S5. Okay. Okay. So I mean, and this is basically the server and all those things. Okay, so basically in company that they have 4 development server. Okay, like Dev 1, Dev 2, Dev 3, and Dev 4, and QA 1, QA 2, QA 3, and QA 4, like that. And then there are 2 environment before production. One is the stress environment, so that you move all your code to the stress, and then do a stress testing there, and then perform some UAT, user acceptance testing, and then after that move your code to the production. Okay. So I mean, there are a lot of technology these days, right? So I mean, some people can develop code. I mean, when you develop a code, right, you can develop in Java, C, C++, C Sharp, HTML, and all those things. Okay, so when we develop a project, right, there are different type of source code. Basically, we basically create different type of source file like Java, C++, and some of the configuration file and HTML, XML. These are the files basically we created when we develop a project or we application, whatever you can call. Okay, application or project. Okay. So what exactly this Git and GitHub? Okay, so what exactly why we need a Git and GitHub? Okay, so this is basically a version control system. Okay, Git and GitHub. So there are different other type of version control also. Maybe you guys, in your company, right? They can use SBN or TFS or all those things. So this is basically a version control system. So why we need a version control system? Because we need, I mean, see, you can write a Java code, but to keep all the history of Java code, who is making changes to which files, and keep track of all those files, right? We need a basically center. I mean, this hub means I mean, if you see that, this hub mean is a center. So we need a Git center or a file center. Okay, so that is the reason basically to keep track of all those files, who is making changes to what, right? So we need a repository. Okay, so this is basically to keep track of all your files. Okay, so we need a version control system. Then once you have the file, all your files, right, so there are certain type of build tools. Okay, so like build it was ant. Okay, which you created build.xml, and then you can compile and create packages. Okay, so after your source control, you just do a build tool, and then I mean there are a lot of tools these days. Okay, either you can use Maven or Ant or anything, and then you can compile and create your project war file, jar file, whatever you can say. Okay, application file basically. And then there are certain tools these days available like your Jenkins and all those things. Okay, this basically what it does is, so it integrates a code into a shared library several times a day. Okay, so what happens is like if you are developing a project, right, there are a lot of developers, so they can keep changing the files and all those things. So what this continuous integration tool does is like Jenkins, and there are other also available in the market. Okay, so what it does is basically each integration it basically created an automatic build and test cases. Okay, So once you it is basically keep track of all your build and everything. Okay, so we need a continuous integration tool. Okay, and once that files all this what is that your app files are created, right? Then there are some automated tool, basically you deploy in DevOps or AWS code deploy nowadays, right? Basically it does is, once you push your code, I'll tell you that push and all those things. Okay, we'll cover that one. But it is basically in other language, right? In GitHub it is and push and pull. Okay, but I think if you use SBN and other things, right, it's, I think it is check in and check out. Okay, so in GitHub terms, if I push a Java files, okay, or any files, okay, for that matter, C++, any file. So what it does is, it basically your continuous integration tool, it basically build that one, and then you deploy. What it does, right? It basically deploy your code to the dev one. Okay, so this dev source. These things we will cover a little bit later. Okay, little bit later. So now, so these are basically, you can say, the life cycle of your software development. So you need a version control, you need a build tool, you need a continuous integration tool, and automated deployment tool. Okay, so what I will cover today is this version control. Okay, the version control system, which is basically Git and GitHub. Okay, so before I move to GitHub and GitHub, right? If any, you guys have any question anytime, right? You have any question, you can stop me and then ask me question. Okay, feel free to ask question anytime. Okay. So if you guys have any question till now, then uh, we can go through your questions and queries. Or else I'll go through this Git and GitHub.
भाई ए स्मॉल रिक्वेस्ट भाई के पेज टा को जूम कर परियो भाई छोटा
Page,
अक्षर
okay,
बहुत
so
छोटा
yeah, I'll increase it to 150. You say
यस
200?
थैंक
Okay,
यू भाई
let me make it to 150. Okay, is it fine? Is it better now?
यस भाई थैंक यू भाई
No problem. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay,
हाँ परेश भाई
yes,
एक्चुअली मेरा क्वेश्चन है मीन्स
yes,
माय क्वेश्चन इज लाइक वर्जन कंट्रोल टूल लाइक VCS
yes.
virtual source code I think VSC or something it's like
No,
uh, in Microsoft product like
yeah, in Microsoft you have TFS. Okay, so what
okay
exactly? This is not a tool. It is version control system. That VCS
okay
means your version control system. Okay.
okay it's a like a cloud related right cloud means you
I mean, it's not like cloud or all those things. Okay, so forget about cloud or anything. Okay, let's say without cloud, ready, you are developing a product or project. Okay,
yeah
forget about cloud and all those things. These are so simple term, right? If you are developing a product, okay,
okay
or application, so we need to keep track of all your files. So let's say you are developing in Java, C++, and simple Java code. Okay, I am writing a simple Java code. Okay, to develop one application. Okay, so
okay
to write a Java code, right? Okay, I wrote the code. Okay, I wrote the code. Let's say hello.world. I wrote the code. But now there are, let's say, 5 people are modifying that files. Okay, so to keep track of history of that files, those all the files, right? We need a version control system.
yeah I
Okay,
got it yeah thanks
yeah, yeah. So this Git and GitHub, right, is a version control tool. It's not about like clouds and all those things. If you are developing a simple project itself, you need a version control tool. Okay, I mean, old days there are other tools there. I mean, most popular is, I think, SVN. Okay, and
uh,
if
SVN clear case as well
yes,
as
clear case and all those things.
yeah
Correct. All those things are like a version
control
control
tool
tool.
yeah
Yes, yes. So if someone from Microsoft, I think they use a TFS mostly. Okay, C sharp world, right? They generally use TFS. Okay. Okay. So let's go to Git and GitHub. Okay. So who developed this Git and GitHub? Okay. I mean, if you guys know about this Linux operating system, right? The Linux was also developed by your Linux Torvalds. Okay, he is the one, right? He developed Linux. Okay, and he developed this Git and GitHub as well. Okay, he developed this guy, this one. Okay, so what exactly is Git? Okay, so as I told before, right? It's a version control system. Okay, it's a version control system, and it keep tracks of your changes in the file. Okay, coordinate works between multiple users. So if you have multiple users, right? So in real world, right, in your team there are 20 30 people, right? All are working on same model, maybe different model, but they can make change to same file as well, right? So that is the reason, keep track of all those files, right? So coordinate works between multiple users. Okay, who made changes and when. So all these things, right? And also, let's say I made some changes, but there are some production issues. Okay, in that case, what I need to do? I need to revert back. So all those things, to do all those things, right? Keep track of your changes, revert back, and all those things. We need a tool. So that is what is Git. Okay. So Git and GitHub. So Git is basically, GitHub is your hub, means your center, as I told, right? So this is your remote repository. We'll cover all those things, okay, later. I mean, this remote repository and local repository. Okay. So these are the basic commands, okay, for Git. Okay, these Git basic command we'll cover one by one. Okay, we'll go through all the commands. Okay, so this Git init, Git config, and all those things, I will go through all those commands. Okay, this is Git add and how to add files, how to delete files, and all those things. Okay, this will go all those things. Okay, and this is basically in GitHub, right? There are, so in real world, right? We basically, what we do, we create a remote repository. Okay, so for that we need a GitHub. Okay, so we will go through all those things, like how to pull the file from remote repository, how to push, and how to get all those files, right? We will cover. Okay, I'll cover all those things here. And first, this git basic command will go through the local repository. This is a local repository. So how to create a local repository, and how to create a remote repository, how to create different branches, and all those things, right? I will go through one by one all those things. Okay, in this session. Okay, and so if you click here, right, you can go and download the GitHub. Okay, so let me click. Okay, go to the page. So if you click that link, right, you can see, like, for Mac and Windows and all those things, right? So this is a Mac. So this is the version 2.228. Okay, so you can download and just go install. It's a very easy thing. You can go ahead and install this one. Okay, so install. It's very easy steps. So I am not going how to install and all those things. Okay, so once you install, right? So okay, let me tell you for Windows users. Okay, so once you install it, you'll see a command window like this. Okay, so this is like a Git bash. Okay, we call it as in Windows world. If you see this logo, right, this is like a command prompt, right? It's just similar to your command prompt, Windows command prompt. Okay, so always, so there are two things. Okay, one is your Git desktop, and another one is Git bash. Okay, so try to avoid using this Git desktop. Okay, this is a GUI tool. You will not learn anything. Okay, if you use that Git desktop, right, you will not learn anything. Okay, so always try to use this Git bash. Okay, it's like a Linux command. You need to write a type your Linux command and all those things. So it's always better to use Git bash for Windows user. Okay, but for Mac, right, for me, right, it always, I have a terminal like this. Okay, so I can. So my Git is installed here. Okay, so I'll go one by one. Okay, so for my Mac, so I already installed that one. Okay, so if you want to know, okay, what is the Git version, you can just type right version. Okay,
Sure, sure.
right. So you can see what is the version I have installed here. So I have installed 2.27.0. Okay, so this is the version I have in my Mac. Okay. Okay.
Paresh bhai,
Yes.
the size is very small. Can you make it
200.
maximum?
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
400. Which
So,
one?
yeah, this looks good. Yeah.
This looks good, but this looks
Yes.
ugly to me. Okay, let me change it to
No,
200. Okay, I cannot see.
300. Yes, 300 is okay. Yeah, this is okay.
This is okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So once you install, let me close this guy. So once you install, if you want to see the version, right? So you can see just type git hyphen dash dash version. Okay. Okay. You can see. Oops. Typo. Okay. What happened?
Bhai, there is another extra space is there after the minus minus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying why it is not working. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. So this is how you can see the Git version. Okay. So it will tell you. Okay. This is the. So let's go and create some folder. So where am I? Okay. Right now, where am I? So if you see here, right, I'm in Git repo. Okay. So if I go here, right, so in Windows, right, you can also see a like this, right, you can create a folder and all those things. I can directly go and create, right click and create a folder, but let's use the command prompt. Okay, so it's better always to use the terminal and create a folder. Okay, so let me create a folder. Okay, let's git is git UUVV MCA demo. Okay.
Paresh,
Yes.
Paresh, can you make it little bigger this command window?
This also
Yeah,
very small. Why this?
uh, you, I think you have 50% of your screen.
Which one is 50%? I'm not following exactly. Let me see. Okay, let me.
The letter are very small. It's very hard to read.
Is
I
it?
am not sure if other can see. But
Is it
increase the
better?
font size. Increase the font size if you can.
Is it very small?
Yeah, for me it's very small. I am not
How about
sure.
other? How about other? Is it
Hey,
small?
Paulo, it's
Bhai,
I think Paulo is
bhai
not
whoever
getting it. Let's
whoever works with a term, bhai whoever works with terminal, that is okay. I can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, correct. Always basically he is
Yes,
from
bhai.
Microsoft
I
world.
will laptop.
He is from the Microsoft world,
Yes.
right? So so
Okay.
yeah. So terminal, I think it's maybe. I think. So Palu, one thing, okay. If you want, right, I mean, I will share this document, okay. So we can go through all this command, okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay. But I think screen wise, it is okay to me, okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure about others, okay. Okay. So I'm just creating a folder here, okay. So you see here, right? It created this Git MCA demo and all those things. So let me go inside that folder, okay.
Susanta, you want to say something?
No. It's okay. I was saying that I think he's working out with his phone. That's the reason it is difficult to him. If he moves
Okay.
to the laptop or something, it should be good.
Yeah,
No,
Susanta.
in phone they can drag and zoom the screen also.
Yeah, but still, then it would be difficult to zoom into that level because that is a
Yeah.
little small window. So if you're on the
Okay.
phone, I don't think it would work that way. But
Yeah,
anyway, so Paresh bhai is going to share the doc. So let's
Yes.
I'll share the doc. Okay, I'll share the doc, and you can run all those commands. Okay, and one thing,
yeah.
because I created this doc in Mac pages, right? So this there is a space here. Okay, if I put a space here, right, it is not. I mean, you will not see it correctly. So I just put a space here. Okay, so but there is no space. Okay, whenever you run this command, right, just remove that space here. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay now. So I zoom out.
Yeah, okay. You are good, right? So let's
Mhm.
run the first command. Okay, let's go and run the first command. What is the how to create a local repository? Okay, let's create a first command. The first command we should use is git init. Okay, this is the first command. Okay, git init. So we'll initialize a. So right now, if you see, right, we don't have anything in this folder. Okay, where am I? I'm in this git new directory git UUVVMCA demo folder. Okay, I don't have anything. Okay, so let's run the git command. Okay, git init. Okay, it will initialize. It is initialize and create a local repository. Okay, so if you see, right, it says initialize empty git repository and all those things. Okay, but if you see ls, right, you will not see anything because that is a hidden folder it will create. If I say ls minus a, right, you can see there is a .git folder it created. Okay, let's go inside that .git folder. Okay, if I am fast, okay, let me know. Okay, if I am fast. So it creates all these head branches and all this thing, and no need to worry about what is there inside. Okay, so no need to worry about, and no need to look into also. Okay, what is there in those folders? Okay, those folders and files. Okay, so let me go back to our previous folder. So where am I? Right here I'm only. Okay, so we created, so what happened, right, we created a directory here, and with this git init command we created a local repository. This is a local repository. Okay, so I'm creating a any application, C sharp, Java, C, any type of application. I created a local repository. Okay, so let's create few of the files. Okay, so let's create two file. Okay, so okay, let me show you one more. Okay.
Paresh bhai, sorry,
Yes.
Rashmi here. Sorry for intervening. What does
Yes.
exactly it does when we say git init? What does
So
exactly it does?
yeah. So what I did, Rasmi, see, this is the folder I created. Okay, Git UMCA demo. I created a new folder. So let's say someone asks you to create a application or something like that. Okay. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
created a folder, and then what I did, I created a folder, and then I created a local repository. Okay, and then I keep all my files here, and Git will keep track of all your files. Okay.
Yeah, Paresh bhai. Paresh bhai,
So,
one more
so
question. Like,
yes.
we have to first create the GitHub first, or we have to create the
No.
Git?
GitHub. I have not. So I mean, don't. I mean, jump in. Okay, that is a remote repository. Okay, this is a local repository. So let me go to the document. Okay, if we go here, right. So right now we are discussing these things. Okay, GitHub is a remote repository. Okay, this is a remote repository. So this we will cover later. So I'm just covering the local repository basic commands. Okay, how to push your file, check in, and all those check in, check out, and few commands. Okay, how to commit and all those things. Okay, so this is your local repository.
Okay, Paresh bhai, thanks a lot.
Okay, yeah. So we will cover that for that remote repository and all those things. Okay. So okay. So where are we? We are in this Git demo. Okay. Let's create two files. Okay. Let's. So what I am trying to show you, I am creating two simple file. Okay. So I'm creating a test git master.java. It's a simple hello world file. Okay, and a config file. Okay, some config file. Okay, I need some config file. So I am creating two files. Okay, one is master.java and another one is your config.java. Okay, so right now there is nothing here. Okay, so you can use the touch command. Okay, I mean you can directly run. Okay. See, now you can see this touch master. So why I put it master, I have a reason behind this one, so why I use this master. Okay, so how Git works is, right, it created, so if I see here, right, Git status here, okay, you see here what it is saying. So we have created a local repository, but our branch is master. Okay, so you guys knows that. So from master you can create a different branch. Okay, we will cover those things. Okay, but where am I? I am in the master branch right now. Okay, okay, so what it is saying, we have created a files. Okay, we have created a file, but we have not included any in that file, have not committed that file. Okay, so that is the reason, right, it is untracked. Okay, so the files is untracked, so Git doesn't know. Okay, you have created a file, till that times you will not add it to the repository and then commit it, it will not know, okay, what exactly they are in the local repository. Okay, so I am creating another file. One is test git, one is this one, and let me create the other file. Okay, okay, so so now we have two files. Okay, now we have two files. One is Java file. I mean, you can create any file. Okay, I have a compiler, Java compiler, so I wanted to show you here. But if you see, right, I have nothing in this file. Okay, just I created a file, but there is nothing in this file. Okay, so there is nothing in this file. So let me I have created another file. Okay, let me copy those two files here, and then I will show you some content here. Okay, let me copy dot slash master Java here. Okay, and let me copy the other file also. Just wanted to show you how to create your config file and all those things. Okay, okay, okay. So now, so let me show you the what exactly I have in this two file. Okay, the Java file. Okay, so it's a simple Java file. Okay, it's a hello world or Git master. I'm just printing Git master here. Okay, I'm doing nothing. Okay, so just I wanted to show you, right, what exactly the code. Your Java code will look like this. So yeah, I have this one git master.java. Okay, so there is nothing in this. Okay, so only hello world or something like that. Okay, so and let me show you the other file also. Okay, the config file master.config. So there is nothing in it. I'm just writing, okay, test. uh, I'm just writing master config. Okay, master config. Okay, so we have two files. One is config file, another one is your Java files. Okay, so okay, so we created two files. So let's see the status of, so what exactly the Git status. So what Git is saying. So what Git is saying is, so this is our local repository. Git is saying is, we created two files. Okay, one is file your config file, another file is Java files. You can create whatever files. Okay, but none of them is tracked. Okay, so how, so let me go back. Okay, to the command. Okay, so we created two files and then both of them are untracked. Okay, so we created a initial file we created, and there are some config command also. You can set your username and file and name and all those things. Let me run these two commands also before going through any other thing. Okay. Oops. There is space. I put a space. Okay. Whenever you run, you just remove this space. Okay. Just remove this space. There is no space. I can use the username and I'm just setting my username and password and all those things to the my local repository. Okay, these are like, so when we will, Oops. Space always, okay. Okay, so why we need this user ID and all those things? So to keep track of, okay, so when we deploy or the code and all those things, that it will keep track of who make the changes and all those things. Okay, so it is always to put your username and email and all those things. So the Git will keep track of the files. Okay, so why? Okay, so let me clear this window. Okay, so let's do the Git status. Okay. So these two files are still, if you see, right, it is untracked. So how to push these two files to our repository? Okay. So always know this Git status, right? You have to run this command multiple times to know what exactly and all those things. Okay. So this is what I already put everything in this document, right? Okay. So these are the thing. Okay. So you'll see which is tracked, untracked, and all those things. Okay. Let's go back. So okay, let's add one file. Okay, so there are multiple ways, right? You can add file. Okay, so let me go through that. Okay, let me add only this file, only one file. Okay, let me add only this file to the repository. So the command is git add. Okay, so git add and then this file. Okay, I'm just adding one file. Okay, now. Okay, so now let's run the git status. Now I did not add the other file. Okay, just adding one file. So what it says is, now right now you see this test master is now, it's Git can track this file. Okay, anytime, right? Git can track this file now because we added it to the repository, but the other file is still untracked. Okay, we have not added that one. So this is the command, this git add to add this file to the repository. Okay, so if you want to, okay, remove this file from the repository, right? This is a command you have to run. Okay, rm and cache. Okay, let's run this also as well, so that it will be okay. You can see what will happen. Okay, and okay, so now let's run git status again. See, both the files are again untracked. Okay, so now, so there are other ways also. So I don't want to keep adding one file like this, right? Let's say I have 100 files. I cannot keep on adding like, okay, git add this file, this file, this file, right? So the command to add all the files, right? Just git add dot. Okay, it will add all your files. Okay, so it will add. So now if I say git status here, see, now both the files are added. Okay, so you cannot say, okay, git add this file, this file, this file, like that. If you want to add all the files, right, you just add both the files together using this command. Okay, git add. Okay, so okay, git status. Okay, so now we added this file to the repository. Okay, so after that, the next command is git commit. Okay, we need to commit this file. Okay, so once we added this file, right?
So Paresh, this is by the Hayes. I have a question.
Yes, sure.
So when you do git add dot, does it go through all the subdirectories too to find out?
No,
Just in the
only that directory.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we added that one. So this is what it is saying. I just take a screenshot of all those things. Okay, whatever we ran this rm cache to remove that file and move to the untracked again. Okay, so these are the command. Okay, to add the file. Okay, git add file name, or you can add start.java, so it will add only start.java, or you can, there is dash dash all also. You can add all the files, or git add dot. Okay, it will add all the files. Okay, this both the commands are exactly the same. It does the same thing. Okay, git add dash dash all. So and or git add dot. Okay, so we did this one. Okay, so now let's do a commit. Next command is commit. Okay, so so let's do a commit. So you made some file. So let's say for some defect you are fixing, and you made these changes. Okay, in this git master.java. Okay, so there are two ways you can commit. Okay, so if I run git commit. Okay, there are two ways you can commit. You just write git commit. Okay, not see what is the other one. Yeah, it is git. Yeah, so if you just type that git commit, right, it will open the open this command, this windows, and it will say, okay, put some comments. Okay, put some comments. So we say like, okay, for issue some issues, right? So let's say, so this is the linux command to insert, write, and all those things. Okay, so you have to know a little bit of linux. Okay, but for windows user, right, there are other things I will tell you. Okay, you don't need to learn linux command, but if you know linux command, it's easy. Okay, so I'm putting some comments here why I made the changes. So for bug one, right, bug one, I fixed this code. So for bug one or issue one, I changes issue one fixes. Okay, something like this. Okay, so I'm doing it in the insert mode. Okay, so I wrote on in the insert mode, and now I'm doing a save. Okay, so if you see both, now what it says, okay, created test config dot this one, and created this one. Okay, now so both the files now are in git repository, and it's created. Okay, so if you do a git status now, right, so what it is saying, you are on the which branch? You are in the master branch, and then it is saying, okay, all our files, all the files, there is nothing. I mean, you can commit. Okay, everything is committed now. Okay, so it's a working tree clean. Okay, so there is no files to.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard some music.
Who's?
I don't know. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Paresh.
No problem. No problem, Paul. Okay, so I didn't hear anything. Okay, but I'm not sure if any background knowledge or something. So this is basically your working tree. So we committed those two files. Okay, so test commit and all those things. So next command. Okay, so that is another way also. Without that also you can do a commit. Okay, let me show you another commit. Okay, let's make a change to the test config file. Okay, let me make the changes to test config file. Okay, master config file. Okay, so what I am doing is I'm making some changes. Okay, the master config, change one. Okay, I make some changes here to the config file. Okay, and doing it to save. Okay, I'll show you the other command how to commit in a different way. Okay, so if I do a git status now, see our this file, it is saying, okay, now this file is modified. Okay, this file is modified. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add first. Okay, so then only we can do a commit. Okay, and it will be available for others. Okay, if you don't do do add and commit, right, it will not be available if some other users wanted to see that file. Okay, till the time if you add and commit. Okay, so let's do the add with the add all command. Okay, so I'm doing git add. I added this file. Okay, now let's see the status again. Okay, see, now it's modified and it's added. Green means if you see, right, it changes to be committed. We need to change commit this one. Okay, so now I'm not running the git commit command like this. Okay, there is a other option. Okay, so git commit -m, and then you can directly put command here. Okay, so let's say bug fix 2, something like this. Okay, bug fix 2. Because bug fix 2, I make the changes in the config file and this one. So what it will not open that window, right, where I put the comments. It will automatically take the comments from here. So M means your comment. So I'm giving, okay, why I made these changes. Okay, so if you see, right, now it did not open that other screen, okay, where you can put the comment. And then, so this is a direct commit. Okay, so now if I go to the Git status again, it's on the branch. So and okay, I'll go through that branch later. But if you see, this is the master branch. We are in the master branch. Okay, and this is a working tree and clean. Okay, so we already made one changes, and then we commit, and we know how to git add all the files and all those things. And then there are different ways how to commit your files. Okay, so I have put all those things here. Okay, so this is the window where it will open the window, and then you can commit. Okay, and this is the other way to some changes. Okay, the same thing, I took a screenshot of all those things, and I put it here. Okay, so there is another thing. Okay, this git ignore. Okay, so this is a very I mean, this you have to know this concept. Okay, so what is this git ignore? Okay, so let me tell you what is this git ignore is. Okay, so let me create a file here, .git ignore. Okay, I'm creating a file .git ignore. Okay, so I'll tell you what exactly this git ignore does. Okay, so I created here. So let me see what all files I have in this. I have this git config and test git master, and I have Java file. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me compile this Java files. Okay, let me compile this Java file. So Java C is and I'm trying to compile this Java file. Okay, and then I will show you what exactly this got git. Okay, it compiled. Okay, now if I do a ls minus a, so you can see now a class file created. Okay, so from the Java file it created as a class file, right? So when you compile your code like C++ and all those things, right, so it created a exe or some out and all those things, right? It created those files for Java. So for Java it created a dot class file. I think C#, Paulo, it creates a exe file, right? Paulo, C#.
I think it will be DLL.
DLL. Oh yeah, whatever. Okay, DLL, exe, whatever. Okay, once you compile it, it created that file. So what I wanted to show you, right? I don't want this class file to be in my repository. Okay, so how to do that one? Or else, let's say some backup file. So if you know, right, some text file or something, when you modify, it creates some backup file. We don't want to include those files in our repository. Okay, so now if you do a git status here, right? What it is saying, I have that dot, this git ignore we created. Okay, so this is the file we will add, but what it is saying is, it is saying I have a dot class file, but I don't want this dot class file to be in my repository, because we are not storing the class file. We don't want to store the class file. Okay, we want to store only the source file, the Java file. Okay, so how to do that? So to do that, right, we need to specify that in our git ignore file. Okay, so let me open this .git ignore. Okay, and now I will specify here. Okay, I don't want this. So in the insert mode, okay, I'm saying, okay, don't include any class file. Okay, don't include any class file to the repository. If I don't want any backup file, log file. Okay, if we create log file, I don't want any log file. I don't include that one. I don't want any backup file. Okay, I don't need those files in my repository. Okay, so this is where you can specify. If you want to specify a directory, somebody was asking, right, a directory. So let's say in your source folder you have some directory. Let's say Paresh and something like that you have. So you don't want to include that directory also. So you can specify here. Okay, I don't want this file to be in my folder or something like that. Okay, so you can specify whatever you want. But just giving you example, I don't want that class file to be in my repository. Okay, so just let me save this one. Okay. Okay, now let's do a Git status. Now you see the difference between that after once we included, right? See the difference here. Now it is not showing. Okay, yeah, we want to ignore that file. I am telling Git, okay, go ahead and ignore this file. Okay, I don't need this dot class file in my repository. Okay, you guys following, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So any exe, DLL, or all those things that we don't want those files. So if you want to ignore some files, so it will ignore those files. Okay, so you have to create this dot git ignore file, and then you can get. But one thing in Windows, right? In Windows, if you go to open your file explorer like this, and you cannot create a dot file. Okay, so you have to use your git bash to create this dot ignore file, because Windows does not allow you to create a dot, I mean any file or folder which starts with dot. Okay, so if you are in Windows user, right, I mean the other file, class file, and all those things, you open your file explorer and you can create the file. But if it is like a dot git ignore, you have to use the git bash. Okay, I showed you that screenshot before. So Windows user just to create this git ignore, use the git bash. Okay, so what is the git status? What is our status now? Okay, so we have this dot git ignore file. Okay, so let's add this to our repository. Okay, so once you create any new file, right, just use that add command and add. So now if I go open the status again, right, it has a git ignore file added to the repository. Now we need to commit this file. So okay, so git commit -m and use git ignore file added. Okay, okay, fine. Git status. See, now our this one working tree is clean and we are on the master branch. Okay, so now there is no file to add. So always whenever you work on Git and write, always run this command git status. Okay, so you'll know what all whether it's a working tree is clean or not. Okay, if any changes you added any files, right, and you have not committed, it will tell you. Okay, you added that file and then committed also, but it's not yet it's added but not yet committed. It will also say, okay, changes to this committed is like this. Okay, but if you want to restore, go back, right, you can just run this git store restore and dash stage. It will again move to the staging folder. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, any question till now? Okay.
So, Paresh,
Yes.
so we are still in the local repository, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have not gone through that remote repository. We'll cover that later. Okay, Paulu.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
still doing the local repository thing. Okay.
Okay.
Paresh, what is the staging concept again? Can you just elaborate a bit?
Yeah, whenever you create a local repository, right? Whenever you run that git init command, right? The first command, it is basically create a stage. Local repository means a staging. Okay, it's a create a stage there. That is what it
All
creates.
right. Okay.
Local repository, it's basically your staging area. That's what it calls. Okay.
All right. Okay. So it's basically synonym of local repository.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So this is what I put it in that the dot ignore file, right? I take all the snapshot and all those things, and then so that you can go through this one, and then you can see, okay, how to ignore the files. Okay, this is what we. And if you want to completely ignore a folder, right, you can just mention like this Paresh test one or Paresh test two. You don't want to include those in the repository. Okay.
Okay. And Parasway, one quick one. I don't know if it's the right time to ask it.
No problem. Go ahead.
These concepts of head and everything, is that confined to the like GitHub, or does it have anything?
Confined to Git. These are all Git commands. These are confined to Git. So in
No. I'm saying this concept of head and all those stuff. Is it head? There is a head for every branch.
Correct.
So is that
master you are talking about this master thing?
Yeah, master. But then what they say is that every artifact that you create on GitHub or
Yes.
GitHub, they say they have got a head there. So is that, has that got any relevance to the local repository or the staging area, or it is entirely something that is applicable to the GitHub repo?
No, I'll go through this one when we create a remote repository. Okay, because right now, see, in the real world, right, you guys generally don't create this local repository and all those things. Okay, if you are working in a project, right, basically you work on a remote repository. Okay,
All
so
right.
we
Okay.
will go. Yeah,
Okay, Parasha, that's the reason I said this is the right time to ask that question.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's get done
Yeah,
with
yeah. I'll
GitHub,
go
then we'll
through
talk
those.
about it.
I'll cover those when we will go through the remote repository. Okay, because just wanted to show you how the local repository concept and all those things. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure, Parasha. Thanks. That's
yeah,
good.
no problem. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so okay, so now the concept of branching. Okay, so whatever till now, whatever we are right. If you see. Okay, till now, if you see, if I run a git status here, right? So we are on the master branch. Okay, so there is a command. Okay, there is a command git branch. Okay, just run this git branch. Okay, so it will tell you which branch you are in. Okay, it's the star is your. So we have on we don't we have not created any branch till now. Okay, so that is the reason, right? We have only one branch here, master branch. So whenever you create a local repository or something like that, right, it will create a master branch. Okay, so how it works? Okay, let's go here. So in the document, okay, so I have a master branch. Okay, and then let's say I have two team. Okay, team one and team two. Okay, so team one, I want to give, okay, they want to work in some modules. Okay, and team two, they will work on a different module. Okay, so what I will do is, okay, I'll create a branch here. Let's say test project path 1 and test project path 2 here. So this I will give it to team. Okay, team 1, go ahead and work in this source code. Okay, and team 2, go ahead and work in this. Okay, so once you are done, right, we will merge the code from path 1 to master, and then path 2 to master, and then master has all the latest code, all the changes from team 1 and team 2, following the concept of branching. Okay, I'm just telling why we need branch and all those things. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do is, for team 1, I'm trying to create a branch. Okay, so this is the command, team a git branch, and just give a project underscore the branch name. Okay, let's create two branch. Okay, here git branch underscore path 1. Okay, I'm creating two branch here. Okay, just run this command. Okay, path 1 and path 2. So I created two branch here. Okay, it's nothing. So now let's do a git branch here. So now you can see here, right? There are three branch now. One is master, where we are right now. So the star means which branch you are currently, okay, in. So this is the master branch we are in, and we have created two branch. Okay, path 2 and path 1. Okay, and there is a now I want to switch from master to test project path 1, path 2, like that. Right? How I will do that one? So there is a command git checkout. Okay. So this is a very important command. Okay, this checkout, because this checkout term is very confusing. Okay, they will ask. I mean, if someone in the interview, right, they said, okay, Git, then they will ask you, okay, what is the Git checkout means? Okay, this Git. So this concept check in and checkout, right, in SBN and other thing, right, is a push and pull. Okay, but check in and check out. But this git check in git, right, this checkout means you can switch from one branch to another branch. So right now I'm in the master branch. I want to go to my project, whatever the first branch, project ECT underscore path 1. Okay, so to switch from one branch to another branch, right, you have to run this git checkout. So what it says, it says switch to branch test project path 1. So from master, now we switch to the branch path 1. Okay, let me run the git branch again. Okay, you can see the difference here. So see the difference here, this one and this one. Okay, so what it was showing, the star was pointing to the master before, the green part. Okay, but now what it is saying is, okay, we are in this path 1, okay. Yeah, you guys following, right? So we switch from master to path 1, okay. So if I do a git status here, right? Git status here. So you'll see it will tell you now. It will tell you you are on branch path 1. But before that, right? It was showing you are on branch 1. So you see these two commands. So when I run on the master, it says you are on branch master. But when I run on this one, now I check out from master to path 1. It will say, okay, you are in test project path 1. Okay. Got. So we are let's do one thing. Let's create few files in the project path 1 branch. Okay, so then we will do a merge, okay, local merge, and then we will go to the what is that different remote repository. Okay, so I'm creating 2 files, okay, here. Okay, I already have those 2 files, so I'm just copying those 2 files to this folder. Okay, if I say ls, right. So yeah, one more thing is here. Okay.
Paresh, just a few seconds.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Paresh, we'll just take a snap, a quick photo one we'll take, then we'll continue again. Just 1 minute break.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Just for a few seconds. It's been already 1 hour, and
My God.
okay. Paresh, can you just please stop sharing the screen for a few seconds, for 20-30 seconds?
Yes, sure. Let me hang on.
Well, in between that time, I request everyone kindly turn on your camera so that you can have a good group photo.
How to stop sharing, right? Okay.
Everyone kindly switch on your camera.
Sushant bhai, nice mustaches. Oh, nice look. Amitabh. Ram. By this way, we are not able to see you.
Paresh bhai oli ki?
I can only see 3 faces. Is my network is poor or what?
Yeah, your network is poor. We can see more faces. By this way, we want to see you as well. You are the senior most today.
Oh, you cannot. I am sharing, right? You cannot see me.
Yeah, no. I can see you. I think.
परेश भाई आपन को ऊपर बैच वैदेश भाई जॉइन करथिले
अच्छा
नहीं माने 97 पासवर्ड हां भाई जॉइन कर
Yeah, he's there.
हां वैदेश भाई आपन अलगा नारे आछन हमें जानि पाइलो नहीं
हाय भाई
भाई म्यूट ही कहउचंदी
Chino done?
Yes, we are done. Now we can continue with Paresh Bhai's session.
Okay. Sushant bhai, take Paresh bhai's suggestion seriously. Odia industry needs some new faces.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this offline. Like
offline.
I can. Yeah.
Maybe another session. Okay, another session, right?
Yeah.
Another non-tech session.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now again we need to go to. Oh, I'm sharing, right?
No. Okay.
No, Paresh. Yeah, you have to share again. Yeah.
I need to share again. Okay. Let's go.
Chino, you are creating distractions in between sessions.
So you can see my screen, right?
Right.
Okay. So I mean, after we cover this branching and all those things, right? I will cover that remote repository, and then we can maybe whatever we can end the call. Okay, after that, and some question sessions and all those things, and then okay. So let's see. So right now.
Paresh bhai, by default, all the files they don't come to the branch. We have to again do a commit.
Which branch?
When we created the branch.
Yes, I did not put any file. Right now, there is nothing in my branch. Okay.
So it has to be exclusively done. Okay. Yeah.
So let me show you. That's a good question. Okay, let me show you why I want to see this one. So you know the concept of inheritance, right? Inheritance. So how it works. So let me go to my document. Okay. So when we create this master master, right? This is our master, like your parent class and child class. Okay. So in inheritance, how in object oriented, how it works is, I have all these three files in my parent class, but I have not created any in my branches. Okay. But those three class files, whatever I have created in my master, which is your base class, can be accessible in your you can see all those in your branches. Okay. So they can access those files. Okay. So you can see all those three files. Okay. Let's create some files in our branches. Okay. Let me create some files here. Okay. And then we can see. Okay. So let me do a copy dot slash test git. Yeah. Java. Okay. So what I did is I created two files in my right now I'm in so git status. Okay. Okay. So right now if you see that I'm on this branch test path one, the first branch, and then I have two file created here. Okay. Okay. So let's add this file and commit this file. I'm just adding. Okay. So I'm just adding. So if you see ls here, right? So now here what we can see all the master files, Java files, all the master Java and master config, and git path one and path one Java and path one config. Okay, so here we can see all those things. Let's do a commit here. Okay, let's add and commit. So I'm adding both the files. So let me run the git status again. Okay, so now you see both the files are now added. Now we need to run the commit command. Okay, git commit yes path one files. Okay. Okay, so now if you see here, right, both the files created. Okay, both the files created. Okay, so now let's run git status. So now we are on branch one. Okay, and all this is a working tree and it's clean. Okay, okay. So now ls. Okay, so here if you see, right, we have master one, path one, and all those things. Let's go to the master branch. What is let's go to the master branch and see what is there in the master branch. Okay, so if you see, let's git checkout master. Okay, so I'm from path one. Now I'm moving to the master branch. Okay, so I switch to the master branch. Okay, if you can see here. Okay, so you see right now I'm in master branch. If I should do a ls here, right? See what is happening in master branch. We have created two files here in the test path one, right? But that is not available to master, right? You see here, it is not, those two files are not available to master because we have not yet merged the code. So the concept here is all the files are here, okay, in the master, and now we created two files in the project path one. Okay, but these files are present in path one. If you want those files to be in master, you have to merge your code from path one to master. Then only it will be visible to master. Okay, so that we will discuss later. Okay, how to merge files and all those things. And to, I mean, all these things we are doing it in our local repository. Okay, so so I mean, when you work on remote repository also, you can merge the code. Okay, so let me create two files in our path two branch, and then add, and then we can compare all those things. So how to merge code from master to path one, path two, and all those things. And the reason I have created two branches is, I'll show you. I'll tell you at the end of the call why I created this one. So that thing we will cover. So let me do one thing. Whatever I did for the path one, right? I'll create a two files in path two. For this is like for team two, right? Team two, they created two files, and now they wanted to check in their files. Okay. So let me go to switch to part 2. Okay. Out. What is that? Test project, right? Test. So I'm switching to part 2 now. Okay, this is the second branch we created for the team 2. Okay, so if you see here, right, switch to branch test project part 2. Okay, so now we switch to it. To know, right, where you are, just run this command, okay, git branch. Okay, so it will tell you which branch you are in. So if you see here, I'm in git part 2. Okay, in the part 2 branch. So we have total three branches. One is master and two child. One is part 1 and part 2. Okay, so let's create two files in part 2 as well. Okay, so let me create two more files in part 2. Okay, so copy. I already have those files, so I'm just copying. Okay, git part 2 .java. Oops. Okay, so pwd ls. So now if you see in the part 2, right, we created two files, path 1, but it is not available to path 2. Okay, it is not available to path 2. The path 1 and path, those path 1 java and path 1 config file is not available to path 2. Okay, so let's add this file here as well. So let's git add. Let me add this to file as well. Add dot commit also. Git commit files added to branch 2. Okay, so now I have these two files also added to branch 2. Okay, let me do a clear. Now let me do a git status here. Okay, so what you can see, it's clean, but if I do a ls, right, what all files I have here? I have test path 2 and a part 2 config, but the java and config files are there in part 2, but the path 1 files are not here. Okay, so let me go to the so what we did. So we have a master branch. So team 1 created two files, path 1 test1.java and one config file, and team 2 also did two files, but they are not available. Okay, so now the development, all the development, whatever done, that, I mean, we already said, okay, team 1 said, okay, we completed our development. Team 2 said, okay, we completed our development. Okay, so now we need to sync the code. Okay, we need to sync the code. So how to sync the code is the merge. Okay, we need to merge the code from path 1 to master. I mean, you can do anything. Okay, path 1 to master and master to path 2, or path 2 to master and path 1 to master. Okay, so we can do anything and sync all the code. Okay, so let's go. Let me go to the document one more time. Okay, so this is the checkout command. Okay, whatever I showed how to move from one branch to another branch, all those things. Okay, we already covered. So okay, let's do a code merge. After this code merge, we will directly go to the local remote repository. Okay, the GitHub thing. Okay. Okay, so what we wanted to do is, so let's do a merge. Okay, merge, right, there is a command. Okay, master branch. Okay, so let's do a code merge from path 1 to master and path 2. Okay, and then I will show you one by one. Okay, so here what do we do? Test project. We are trying to merge path 1 code to master. Okay, so first what do you need to do? You need to check out to master. Okay, so let's go to master. Okay, so where am I? If I see, where am I wanted to see. Okay, branch, git branch. Okay, I am in test path 2. So what we are trying to do is, we are trying to merge code from test project path 1 to master. So before, okay, let me go to the master branch. Okay, let's check out. Yeah, okay. So right now we switch to branch master. Okay, if I show you git branch here, you can see I'm in master. Okay, so now let's see what are the files in master. So if you see, right, I have only master config and all those things. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are trying to merge path 1 code to master. Okay, so what the command is git merge and test project path 1. So what it will do is it will merge your path 1 code into master. Okay, so in path 1 we have two more files. So the path1.java and path1.config. So if you see the here right now is master.config and master.java. We don't have config path1.java and path1.config. Okay, so let's merge it. Okay, so so what I am trying to do here is I am merging path 1 code to master. Okay, you guys following, right? So
Yes, yes.
yes, so what I'm going to do, so git merge, I'm merging test project underscore path 1. Okay, so I'm merging master path 1 into master. Okay, let's run this command. See what it says. It merged these two files. Did you see these two files now? Path 1 git path1.config and git path1.java, right? So both of them, if I do a ls here, right? See now both of them are in master branch. Okay.
Paresh bhai, can you
Yeah.
create another branch and merge path 1 and path 2?
Yeah. I have two branches, right? I have another branch here. I already have one branch here.
Right. No, what I'm saying is you
Yes.
have path 1, one branch, path 2, one branch. Okay.
Yes.
Master is the root one. So obviously the master don't have the files of the path 1 and path 2, right? So
Yes.
what I want to create another branch under the
Okay.
master path 3. Okay, in path 3, I want to merge path 1 and path 2. So
Yeah.
you have to go to path.
We can
So
do same thing. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you. We can do. Okay. You want
okay.
to create another branch, right?
Mhm.
So
So my doubt is, okay, here,
yeah.
if you want to merge any of the branch,
Yeah, you
then
can merge any. You want to merge path 2 and path 1 without going to master, right? That's what your question is, right?
yeah, but you
Yeah.
have to be, I think, you have to be in the branch which you want to merge, right?
I mean,
Like,
you can merge from any branch to any branch, Pablo. Okay,
okay,
let me tell you. Let me go to the flow. Okay, it's not like it. I mean, in real world, why we need master is we want to keep everything in master. Okay, but if you don't want to merge a master from path 1 to path 2, right? You can do it. You don't need to merge it in master. You can merge anything from path 1 directly to path 2 as well. But in real world people generally don't do like that. Okay, so they move their code to master. So master is always your master. Okay,
okay.
you have all the latest code in master.
Mhm.
Paresh bhai, sometimes some code always remain in the branch.
Which one? What is that?
So there's sometimes very specific code remain in the branch. They never go to the master. Sometimes that
Yeah,
also happens.
if you create some unwanted code and you don't want to move, then those are not required also, right? If you are not moving to master, means you don't need those files, right?
Right.
So if you are creating a file, I am creating a file, and if I am not moving it to master, then that file will be considered as junk file, right?
Sometimes what happens for a release, you need some
Yes.
specific handling which you don't really take to the master. Okay, in the
Yes.
branch itself, you release and close it. In the master, maybe you have a separate solution for that. That way.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense. I mean, if you need, I mean, you can put a git ignore and ignore those files as well. In the git ignore, right? I don't need some log file or something I created. I don't need it. You can put it in the git ignore, and then it will not move to your master folder. The master branch, sorry, not folder branch.
Okay. Yeah. So for Paulo, fine, right? So with two branch, we are fine. I think let's move ahead. Clear, no, Paulo?
Yeah, that I got clear. What I
Yeah.
was,
Follow. I
Yeah,
mean,
fine.
we have very less time. I mean, and
yeah,
if you want, we can connect offline, and I can show you all those things as well. Okay.
okay, right, thank you.
Yeah, I'll connect offline. We can connect offline, and I will show you 3 branches also, because I mean we need to cover that remote repository, and we have only 20-25 minutes. I need to
Mhm. Yes,
move a
yes,
little fast. Okay. So, but we can connect offline, Paul. Okay. You can call
okay,
me.
sir.
You have
Mhm.
my number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can branch. So now if you see, right, the master has path 1 and path 2. Okay. So now let's let me where am I? Git branch. And now we are in master. Okay. So let's go to path 2 branch. Okay. Let's move to path 2 branch. Okay. Git checkout. Project. I'm moving to oh shit. Okay. So I switch to now path 2. So if you see Git branch, right? So we are in part 2. What all file we have in part 2? We have all these master files and part 2 files. Okay, we don't have the part 1 file. So now what I'm trying to show you is I will merge the master files to this part 2. Okay, so master to part 2. So if I merge in master, we have this part 1 and part this file is now present. These two files are now present in master branch. Okay, so if I merge from master to part 2, right, into part 2, then this 2 file also will be in my part 2 branch. Okay, so let's run that command. Okay, git merge. I'm merging master. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm merging from all the code from master to part 2. Okay, so I'm merging here. Oops. Okay, so it is asking to put some comment. I put the comment and just so you see here Python and both the files now are in your part 2. So if I do a ls here, right, so now you can see, right, before that these two files were not there, test path1.java and this test path1.config. Okay, these two files were not there. If you see here, right, if you compare these two things, so those two files were not there. Once I merged, right, it moves from your what is that master to the main branch. Okay, so this is how all your local till now I covered all the local repositories. So we will, but in the real world, right, everything we generally work on the remote repository. Okay, so all this master merge and all these things I put it over here. Okay, so now, so till now, if you guys have any questions, right, we can cover. Okay, till the local repository before I move to the remote repository, right. So if you have any questions, we can cover now, or at the end also you can ask. Okay, anytime you can ask. Feel free to ask question anytime. Okay.
Paresh bhai,
Yes.
yeah, Ajay here. So
Yeah.
suppose I have a single file which is present on all the branches,
Yes.
and suppose a bug fix has come and I need to modify that file, and that has
Correct.
to go on all the branches. So
Correct.
can you please help me on how to do that?
Yeah, we can see. You can do it. Okay. Okay. You want me to do it right now? Okay. Okay. Let me do it. Okay. Right now here. Okay. So right now, if you see, right, we have this test git master .java files that everywhere we have. Okay. We have this file in all my 3 branches. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're
Uh-huh.
following, right?
Yeah, yeah, bhai.
Okay. So let me do a git branch here. Okay. Git branch. So where I'm in part 2. Okay. I'm in part 2 branch. Okay. So if I see here, let me make a change in this git master. Okay, so you have a bug in your code, and now you want to merge this git, make some changes. Okay, let's make some changes here. Okay, git master java. Okay, so now what we are trying to do here is we are making some changes. Okay, I'm just changing this file. Okay, some changes, bug fixes. I'm just writing bug fix. Okay, here bug fix. Okay, we make the changes. Okay, let's do run git status. Okay, But it will say your test git.java is now modified. Okay, following? Yeah. So let's let's run this also Java C. Let's compile this file also. Okay. It compile, you can run also, you can see also Java. Let's run that file also. It says now it says that the output is git master bug fix, right? We made some changes to that file. Okay, anything, any code, logic, for loop, if loop, and loop, whatever you modified, you modified some logic and fix the code. Okay, so something we modified. Okay, so now let me. So now this git master dot java, this is not present in our path 1 or master. Correct? We made these changes in path 2. So right now I'm in path 2 branch. Okay, they're following, right?
Yeah, bhai, huh.
But if I go to my master branch or path 1 branch, right, it will not be present. Okay, it will not be present. Okay, so let's add this one. Okay, git status. Let me add this. Okay, git dot. I added this file and let me commit. Okay, git commit -m bug fix. Okay, some bug fix it did, and then if you made the changes. Okay. So now this file is present in part 2. Okay, in part 2. So Paulu also was asking right now. What I am trying to do is I am not merging this code in path 1. I am sorry, master. I will directly merge this code to path 1. Okay, let me go to path 1. Okay, check out project underscore path 1. Okay. So right now I am in test project path 1. Okay, let me do a ls and let me show you the code what is present here. Okay, before I merge it, let me show you the code before I have here in test master. Okay, I'm showing you the code before here. You will see that bug fix will be not there. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so if you see here, right, see there is that it is saying git master. Okay, this one it is not there. Okay. Let's do a merge from path 2 to path 1. Let's move all the path 2 code to path 1. Okay. So we are in Git branch. We are in
Part 1.
path 1. Okay. We are in path 1. So now I'm trying to what I'm not merging it into master because I mean we are saying you can do it. You can do. I mean in real world, right? It's best practice to move the code to master and so that master has the latest of all. But right now, because you asked me, I'm merging the code. I'm merging the code from path 2. So I'm merging all the path 2 code to path 1. Okay.
That is not your ball. Is this your ball?
Underscore path 2. So all the path 2 code will merge into path 1. Okay.
Is this your ball?
See it merge. Okay. So it says, so it will say, tell you what all these files are modified, which all file modified, and all those things will tell you. Okay, what are the file instances? Now let's do a search. Let's check the master file now. Okay, test git master Java. Okay, you see here now the bug fix is already added here. You got it, right?
Okay, bhai. Thank you.
So it doesn't mean like you can merge only from master to you can merge from any path to any path. Okay. Just go to that branch and then whatever merge, right, it will move. So it will be like this. So when I'm giving this command, right, this command merge command. So what all the code it will try whatever branch you are in, it will move. It will merge basically all your code from this branch to this branch. Okay. But okay, let me go to the master. If I go to the master right now, right? If you see, let me go to the master right now. Go to master. Okay. You will not see that because we did not merge that one. Okay, so if I do so we did not merge that code to master. So let me show you the code which is present in master. You will not see that bug fixes will be present here. Okay, master.java. See, you see here, you see in master, right? The bug fix is still not there because we did not merge the code to master. We merged the code from path 2 to path 1. You got it right, Palu? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Master still we don't have the old code. But if I do a merge now, I'm in in master. If I do a merge here, right? I mean merge path 2. Git merge path 2. Let's do path 2. Okay. Paste.
Nobody.
Path 1. In path 1 and path 2 both has that latest code. Let's merge this one. Okay. So it merged that one, so it will tell which all files. Now if I do a ls here, and now if I see the Java files in master, it will merge that also. You can see now.
Buddy likes to jump on our car.
See now you have the latest code in master as well because I merged from path 1 to master. Correct?
So Paresh, by the way, he's got a question.
Sure, bhai.
So let's say in my path 1 branch, I have 35 files I modified, and in path 2, I want to only take 10 of them. Can I do that?
Path 1, no. I mean, why? I mean, if you merge like that, I mean, Git doesn't know, right? Anything, right? It will basically merge all the files. It will try to merge all the files.
Okay.
So it's not like you can select only 10 files out of 35 you modified and you don't want to change. So I mean, Git generally tries to do all the file compare and it merge everything by.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So okay, so this is what I covered till now of the local repository. Okay, so now let's go to the remote repository. Okay, so it is that this GitHub is basically your hub means what is the center. So generally people in India call your IT center is Bangalore. GitHub IT hub is Bangalore, Hyderabad, and something like that, right? So this GitHub means is your files, all the file center. Okay, so this is your remote repository. Okay, so what you need to do, you just go and log in, go and to this github.com. Okay, let me you open your browser and just type in github.com. See, I already logged in. Okay, because I already created user and all those things, but let me log out. Okay, let me sign out. So okay, let's log in again. Okay, let's log in again. So just type in this github.com. Okay, this is remote. So now it will ask you your user ID and password. Okay. Okay, so I already have that one. You can create your user ID and password. Okay, this is a free software. Okay, this is a free. You can write all your code and put it in the remote repository, and then you can share it to anyone. I can create all. I can show you all those things. Okay, so let's go to the sign in. Okay, because I already created that one, so I already have that one. So let me see my user ID and password. I need my user ID and password. Okay. Okay. There is my. Oops, sorry. Yeah, and password. Okay. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, this is your remote repository, and always remember this cat icon. Okay, this is the icon. You can see all your repository and all those things. This icon you should remember. Okay, so let's create a remote repository. Okay, let's create a remote repository. Okay, so let me show you what. Let me go to the command prompt. Okay, let me go to the command prompt. Clear this one. So if you see here, right, if I say git remote here. We don't have anything here right now. We don't have anything. Okay, we don't have any remote repository or anything like that. So let's create a remote repository. Okay, so to create a remote repository, just see if you log in, it will create. You can create a remote repository like this. Okay, let's give it a name. Okay, Git remote UUVVMCA demo underscore app, something like this. Okay, you can give whatever. Okay, and all those things. I mean, you can choose all, but there are two options: public and private. Private means I think you need to pay some money or something like that. Okay, so I generally select this public, so you can see I can see all those things. Okay, just click a create repository. Okay. So you see here, we already created a remote repository. Okay, so this is a remote repository. So we already, so all these things, whatever it is saying, right? Add these things, and this we already created the master branch and all those things. So whatever we have in our local repository, right? We want to move all these files to our remote repository so that a new user can get access and they can download and they can use it. Okay, so we already have this first all those things we already have. So let's run this command. Okay, after this let's run this command git remote, and then we can push our master to the origin. Okay, so let's run those two commands. Where is my command? Where am I? Yeah, I'm in master, so I'm just running these two commands. Okay, so that I'm adding, so this is the URL. Okay, so you need to I mean, whenever you want to share, right, because this is present in some server or somewhere online, right? So you need to share this to someone with whom you want to share your code. Okay, so let's run this guy. Okay, let me run this. Okay, I'm running this. I ran that one, and let's do a git push our master to the origin. Okay, I ran this one. Okay, so it's still running. Okay, so now all our master, right, whatever code is there in our remote. I will show you, but before that, right, I just so you see here before that, right, there is no remote, but if you type remote now, you'll see the origin. See, it is origin is there. Okay, and you remember, right, what all code we have in master. So let's say before that, let me see, these files are there in our master. Now if I refresh this browser, right, all this is the repository, remote repository we created. Let me refresh this one. Okay, see, now once I refresh, right, you can see all those files, right, whatever they are in our here, all these files, now it moves to our remote repository. You guys following, right, how I moved my all my master code from my local repository to the remote repository? You guys follow, right? So now, so now, if you see, right, all these files are there. Only master files are there. We don't have the files from other two branches we created. Okay, so now in our local repository, remote repository, right, we need all those files. Those are present in our all those branches also should display here. Okay, right now you see that there is no branch here. So how to move that all your branch code to your remote repository? Okay, so we have the command. Let me go and get those two commands so that we can. So this is what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so everything is present in the document. Okay, if we go here.
Bhai, I have one question.
Sure.
Every time we have to merge that, or that will be automatically done? We have to do that for once.
No, I'll show you the merge concept from the remote repository or local repository you are talking about.
Both.
Yeah, both. So whenever there is a code changes, right? So if there is no change, it will not merge anything. Okay. So if you run the command like something like that and there is no file changes, it will say there is nothing to merge. Okay.
Okay.
So if you make the changes, if you make the code changes, bug fixes or something like that, then only if you run the merge command, it will merge. Or if there is, I'll show you that also. Okay. When in the remote repository, I'll show you that. If there is nothing, you did not make any change, right? So it will say, okay, there is no changes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you that. Okay. So what we did, we created that GitHub remote repository, and always remember that cat icon. Okay, this cat icon I showed you, right? That cat icon. So if you click on that cat icon, it will show you what all repository you have here. Okay, if there are, it's not like one repo, you can create multiple repository here. Okay, so for in your let's say you have 5 applications, so for each application you have different repository. You can create your 5 repository here, and then you can give access. Okay, so user one, I don't want to give the access to the path one or some app. Okay, so you can do that also. Okay, but this is a local repository we created, and just click on that one, and then you'll see all the files, okay, from the master. But the thing is, we are not seeing our both the branches here. So let's move all the branches whatever present in our local repository to the remote repository. Okay, so the command to do that one is, so we moved all this master and all those things we did, right? We just did all this. So run this command, so you'll move all your master code to that. Let's move that branches. Okay, so all this screenshot after you did ready, I have already put the screenshot as well here. Okay, so what all files it moved from your master to your remote repository. Okay, so you'll see. So this is the command. Okay, so this is the command git push from to your origin. Okay, so path one. So we have created 2 branches, right? Path one and path 2. So right now what we will do, we will push those to our remote repository. Okay, so let me run this 2 command. Okay, the dash dash I just put, you have to remove that dash dash. Okay, because in MacBook pages, right, the font was small, so it was showing like one dash, so I just put a space so that it will be clear. Okay, let me put this, the same thing. So now what I'm trying to I'm doing here is I'm pushing all my path one project to the remote. Okay, and the same thing with the path 2 also. Okay, let's do the path 2 also. Okay, so we moved both up. Now if I do go and refresh my browser, right? See, now you can see all those things. See, now you can see test path 1 and path 2. Now both the branches. So now you have a master branch, path 1 and path 2. Okay. So now you can see, if I go here, right, what all they are in master, you can directly see here. So okay, see what are bug fixes, all those comments with everything, right? You can see. So this is where I'm in path 2 now. So now if you see, if I want path 2, right? So you can see it here. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is like, okay, now I am the owner, and then I want to share this to some other user. Okay, so let's do create a where I am. Let me create a new user. Okay, so all these files are there in our remote repository, and you are a new user. I wanted to share you my the code. Okay, so let's create a folder here, new user. So let's say user 1. Okay, let's create a folder here, user 1. Let's go to user 1. Yes, okay, so now I mean user 1, I mean can get all the files from the remote repository. Okay, so let me create 3 folder here. Okay, let me create 3 more folder here, so that I'll show you mkdir master. So what we will do here, we'll pull all the code from the remote repository to the master. Okay, and then path 1 here, path 2. Okay, so let's go to the let's pull all the code from path 1. Okay, so path 1. Okay, so where am I now? Right now, if you see, I am user 1, I am path 1. Okay, so I want to access all the code. So if you click here in the code, right? So this is the URL. Okay, this is the URL. Okay, so this is the URL you need to remember. Okay, let me open the text editor. Okay, so if you see, if you see here, right? So this is the URL. So how to pull all the code from the remote repository to your local repository. Okay, So so this is how basically in actual real world it works, right? So somebody, we created a structure, and then there are 10 resources. We'll give, okay, this is, I mean, you have to go and pull the code from the path 1, part 2, or something like that. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I created my local repository, and I'm trying to share my code to the user 1 and for all the path 1. Okay, so the command to pull that from path 1 is git clone. So there are three commands you have to remember. Okay, git clone, git push, and git pull. Okay, we'll go through all those things. Okay, so let's do. So we are creating a new user. All those things I have put it in the document. Okay, all those things, how to create merging and all those things, we will do it using GitHub. Okay, so 3 directories, we created 3 directories, and this is the command. Okay, to clone your master remote repository to your local folder. Okay, but the URL is different because I have created a different repository. Okay, so you do, if you create whatever your repository, you whatever that URL, right, in your repository, you just paste that one, not what in the document. So this is the URL, right? So instead of this so git clone, you just use this URL because this is the repository. Previously the repository I have created is git demo, so just use this URL. Okay, you are following, right? I am just using the URL whatever the new repository I have created. Okay, so what it will do, it will clone all your files from the remote repository to the user path 1. Okay, so here what I am trying to do it is I'm running the clone. I want to download all the files present in my in the remote repository of path 1. Okay, so here what I'm saying is, no, sorry, master. Then I need to change it to, because this is master. So you need to tell which branch. Okay, so I need to change the branch name. I think it's test project path 1. Test project is a branch name path 1, right? Test project, yeah, underscore path 1. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm getting all the files from path 1 branch to my local repository. Okay, let's run this one. Okay, see, if you see now, if you see here, right, pwd, I'm in path 1. If I say ls, so it will create the app name. So if you go to this app, okay, this is the, now if you do ls, right, you can see all the files from your path 1. Okay, so this is now user, this one has path 1, all the path 1 code. Okay, so let's do one thing. Okay, so in the, we are in path 1, right? So this guy, if I do ls minus a here, so if you see .git, everything is got ignore and everything, all the files are here. Let's make a file. So let me show you here. Okay, where path 1, right? We are in path 1. So let's go to the path 1. Okay, so what all files are here in path 1? See all these things. Let's create a HTML file. Okay, because all Java can. Let's create a HTML file in path 1. Okay, so let's so something, I mean, you are creating a HTML file. Okay, let's create a HTML file here. Touch paste and get path 1 .html file. Okay, this is new format, so I'm changing it to new extension, so that you'll see that you will see here. Okay, how it works. Okay, so now git html. Okay, I'm creating a html here file. Okay, so let's add something. Okay, okay, so I'm just adding insert, just adding a body here. Okay, body tag here, something like this. Paresh test. I'm just adding a tag. Okay, So I just added a tag here, HTML. Just I wanted to show you in the remote repository. So right now I'm working in my local repository, but this file is not present in my remote repository, right? So I want to push this code to my remote repository. That is what I wanted to show you it to you. And once that is there, we will merge from the remote repository to master and path on. Okay. So if you see here, right? So if I say git status now, here first. So let me see. We have 5 more minutes. Okay, I'll complete this one. Okay, so if you see git status, right, you can see only the dot html file is here. Okay, let's add this one. Git add dot git commit. After add, I'm doing a commit. Okay, added html file. Okay, so this file is added, but this file is not present in our local repository, right? So how to do that one? Okay, so there is a command called git push. Okay, so you need to run that command. So if you say git push, so right now if you see here in path one, right, you see here there is nothing in the HTML file is not here. Even if here, right, the HTML file is not there. So let me do a push. Okay, from remote repository to our sorry, local repository to the push remote repository. Okay. So let me do a push, git push. I think only git push, I guess. Yeah. So if you see, right, git push. So what it is saying. So now see it pushed that HTML to the repository. If you see now, if I do a refresh, right, so it will say, well, see the HTML, added HTML. You see here, now it added to the remote repository. So from our local repository, we created a HTML file and then we pushed that to the our path one, right? You see that one, right? So we added this one, but this HTML is not present in our master or any path, right? So let's do that merge from path one to path two, so that if I go to the path two, right here, see here, so they see it is saying that HTML is not there. So how to merge? I mean, you can do a merge from the remote repository as well as your local repository. So I already showed you how to do it in the command from local, but let's do a merge from the remote repository. So how to do that one? You need to click on this pull request. Okay, so what this pull request means is, what we are trying to do is new pull request, create a new pull request. Okay, so here on the left hand side, from where to where you want to merge. So we want to merge, we created in path one, so I want to merge from path one, able to merge path one to path two. I don't want to merge to master. Let's do it in path two. Okay, you can directly you can do it in master. So let's do it from master. Okay, let's do it to master, and then from master we'll put to merge it to path one, path two. Sorry. So here the thing here is able to merge. So when you see this able to merge, right, means there is no conflicts. So but in the real world, right, you will see a lot of conflicts. Two teams are working and all those things. You will see a lot of conflicts. Okay, so if you see conflicts, you have to merge it. I mean, there are certain tools you can use it and you can merge it. Okay, or else you can do it with beyond compare and some other tools, right? You can do it. So let's do a create a pull request and added HTML file. I'm not changing that command. Okay, so you can put any comments here. Okay, so create pull request. I'm doing a create pull request, and then once you see, right, that one, so now you can say, okay, merge pull request. So we want to merge to the master, so you click on that merge, and then if you want any comments or anything, and then just click on that confirm merge. Okay, so so now it will tell you like who is. Now let's go to the master. Okay, let's go to the master, let's go to the repository, and let's go to the master. If you see master, right, now the HTML file should be there. See, the HTML file is now added into your here. Okay, and from but the file still is not present in path 2. See, if you go to that path 2, right, see, this file is not present in path 2. Okay, so this file is, the HTML is still not present in path 2. So let's do one thing, let's merge from master to path 2. Okay, so you need to go to the pull request, go to the pull request. Now what I will do, I will pull request. Okay, create a new pull request, and then now what I will pull master to path 2. Okay, so it is able to merge. Okay, it is able to merge that HTML. It will move from master to path 2. Okay, so let's create a pull request. If you don't put this any comment, right, it will this green button will not enable. So you have to put some comment here. So code sync, you can say code sync path 1. Okay, we are syncing path 1 to master. And then so now once you put some comment, you can create a pull request here. Okay, now you see the merge pull request. Okay, and then confirm merge. Okay, so once you did that one, so now what will happen if you go to the path 1, right? Now let's go to the path 2. Okay, all the code are now basically in sync. Okay, so if you see, right, master also has this HTML file, and your this one also, path 1 also HTML file, and path 2 also HTML file. Okay, part 2 also, all are now in sync. Someone was asking like, okay, if I didn't make any change and then you want to try merge that, let's do it. Okay, let's try to do a pull request. Well, where there is all the codes are in sync. Okay, so now if you create a new pull request, right, and then see, I'm trying to merge from path 1 to master. Okay, so if you see here what it is saying, it is saying comparing changes, there is nothing, and there isn't anything to compare. So all those code are in sync, so you cannot merge, because if you don't make any changes, right, you cannot do a merge. Okay, because it will not allow you, because all the code are in sync, so you will not see anything here. Okay, so if I try to path 1 and path 2, you cannot see anything. Okay, and the last command before, it's almost 1 minute we are apart. So last command just I wanted to show you is what do you mean command. Last command is in the remote repository is git pull. So we already merged that one. So if I run git pull, right, it will pull all the latest code. Okay, so it will say already up to date, because my code is already up to date. So it will say, okay, all the codes are up. So basically in the remote repository, right, three commands you need to know. One is your git clone. You will get all the code to your repository. Okay, and then you can make all the changes and all those things, and then after that you run git push command. So that push command and then git pull command. So these are the three basic commands if you want to work on a remote repository. And then all the merging and all those things you can either run with the git merge command within the terminal itself, or you can through the remote repository. Something like this I showed you, right? Something like this. Okay, so this is what actually almost 2 minutes over. So I think, okay, let me go to the document. So all this I already noted here. Okay, so yeah, so any question or anything, right, you can ask me right now. We can continue 5-10 minutes, or if you have any questions, right, you can email me. I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, Parisa will quickly take if there are a few questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah,
Paresh,
Yes.
yeah. That's why you ran two commands. One is git push, one with a set upstream, and one is the like only -u origin. What are the two differences? Can you please
Yeah.
elaborate?
Let me go. Okay, let me go to the top command. So when you create a new repository, right? So when you create a new repository, you need to push your this one you are talking about, right? This push dash to origin to master, right? This one you are talking about, right? So
Yes,
this what
one
it is.
command.
Huh?
Yeah. Okay. One command is this one. The another one
Yeah,
is
that
the
one I'll tell you. Yeah, that's what I'm going one by one. So what we created a remote repository here, and then we are, so there is no remote repository before. So we created a remote origin, and then what we are doing, we are pushing all our master. If you see here, master, pushing all our master code to the origin of the remote repository. Okay, and the other two, we have two more branches, right? You saw that we created two more branches, but those two were not present in our remote repository. So to push these two branches, right, to origin, we need this two command to push our branch 1 and branch 2 to the origin. So that's the reason I ran this all the 3 commands.
Thanks, Paresh. My question was like, why we use here set upstream? Why didn't you use it for the master one for set upstream?
Oh, master one, we need this one, right? The set upstream is not required for master. Okay. So
Master
this is what
branch wise.
yeah,
branch.
only required for the branches, because that is master. Right? You don't need that.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
No problem. Yeah, if anyone has any question or anything, right? I mean, you can ask me, send me questions or email.